So I just wanted to show some footage. So I have a lot of questions asked about reloading and where to start, how to do it. I'm just going to kind of throw together a bunch of shots and explain it as best I can. It's one of those things that there really is a lot of material on it and a lot of videos and tutorials, but there's a lot lacking in it, I think, and this is kind of going to be an attempt to do better at that. But just to show you, I'll pick up my tripod here. This is my Dillon 650. It's terribly intimidating to a first-time reloader, but pretty neat machine, and as I kind of walk you through it, it'll really make a lot more sense. It just looks like a big game of mousetrap. A big blue game, that is. But anyway, this stage right here is kind of one of the first steps. I'm gonna try to get my light right, sorry. This stage is just loading a priming tube. This is just an aluminum tube, and it has two sides to it. One side lets the primers fall with this cotter pin. I pull the cotter pin out and the primers fall. And then this side kind of just grabs them. So all I do is I just touch these. They just start stacking up in the tube, and the tube is a perfect size so it can't rotate them. So even if they kind of going in a little crooked, they really index well. They stay straight. So this is 100 primers. These are S&B small pistol primers. This is going to be for a 9mm. These are the bullets I'm going to put in there. These are those 124 grain high-tech H&S bullets. Kind of just fly through this as fast as I can. Maybe we'll do some This is 100 primers, and I'll show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, now I have this tube full. This is a low primer sensor, so this little rod right here will fit down here. As you obviously can tell, it's low on primers, so this goes down and it makes contact on there, so it makes a beep. So I flip this open and I put the blue end down with the cotter pin and just pull the pin. 100 primers, just like that. Then I will grab the camera here, and you can see I just dropped this. Oops, drop that in there, and what that does, this oversized part here, when it comes down, the primers get low, and it hits that down. So kind of neat. Pretty cool system there. So that's the priming low primer sensor. Kind of neat. So I just loaded 100 primers. I'm ready to load. Other kind of neat feature of this, I don't have that many in there right now, but it's a case feeder. So from the very top, this is looking down, comes down. There's a funnel there and there's a tube. So I actually wanted to empty it to show you. I'll put it on low so you can see more of it. So recycling there, and what it does is it'll bring them down. It rotates it perfect every time. Put it on high too. See, there's like a trip switch right there. So if there's a piece of brass here or higher, it'll shut off. So as I'm loading, it'll drop down and put a new one in every time, so it stays right here the whole time, and as long as there's brass up on top here. So another neat kind of automated feature on this machine. Keeps it really fast. Okay, I just set up those primers, and I'll kind of walk you through the steps, what the press actually is doing every step. It's pretty confusing to a new reloader or a new shooter, of course. Someone who's loaded on a single stage is really going to understand it a lot better. But being progressive, every pull the handle is doing 5 things at a time. So I started out so there's only, well, there's now 2 in there, but we'll just follow on this first one right here. So right now this ramp right here just pushed this one into place in this 5-position holder. When I pull the handle down, it's going to go up and it's going to get sized, and it's going to decap. So also I got to know I'm using the Dillon carbide 9mm dies, and that means I don't need to use any lubricants, which is really nice because I don't have to keep cleaning them or have my machine get all gummed up. But anyway, this one now just came down, it's sized. It's going to rotate over to one position over, so over here. And I'm pushing the arm forward, as you can see in the background, and I just primed it. I'll actually pull it out, so you just primed it. I'll put that back. So now this one's going to get sized and decapped. The one I just sized and decapped is now primed. I guess we'll just ignore that one for now. We'll just kind of keep on with in order. So now the first one I just did, it's going to go up and it's going to actually be charged with powder, and it's going to receive a bell. So we flare the case just a little bit so it can help the bullet feed in there. Oops, so it looks like I got a little... One in about 100 does that. It's a little off-centered. So now I've just decapped that first one, I've thrown the powder, and I'm belling that case all at once. Okay, now I'm priming the second one. This first one that we started with now has powder in it. Let's see if I can show it to you. Let's see. You can see that. It's kind of hard to get in there with my tripod. Sorry guys. Didn't plan ahead on that one. Anyway, trust me, there's powder in there. Now, this particular load was given to me by a guy who shoots a lot of competition pistol matches, and it seems to work really well. I'll talk about those components in here in just a second. So, okay, now we're continuing on. Now this stage currently does nothing. I actually have a powder check device that it'll go in there and double check you have not a double charge or not a no charge. It won't say you're a tenth of a grain high or low, but put a bullet in. Now we're kind of in order. Okay, so let's see, we got a bullet sticking up there real high. Now it goes into this next die and it gets seated to the exact length I need it. And so now it looks like a real round, but now there's still the bell on it. The brass is kind of still flared out, so I got to fix that. So now the next stage is it's going to crimp it, which means it kind of just pushes that brass in just a little bit, so it's going to feed reliably and not cut your hand and stuff. It's not super sharp, it's just, it definitely get in the way. Oh, and I forgot my box. So there's not my first, but the first of this video loaded. Let me get in focus. You'll see that there's like a little, almost like an hourglass shape to it. Just because the die will size the brass down so it's smaller than the bullet, and then the bullet gets seated in there and stretches it back out, so there's a nice tight fit on there. A lot of factory ammo, the bullet measures 0.355 inches, and these ones, because the high-tech coating, measure 0.356 inches, so 1/1000th of an inch more, and you get that little kind of hourglass look to it. So that's how I do it, and this is what I shoot exactly in these matches I do. And I'll show you more about it, and maybe we'll do some chronographing and stuff like that and show you how accurate they can be and stuff. So anyway, it's a nice little setup here. I'll actually do a whole bunch real fast just to show you how fast I can do it, show you how cool this machine is. I think that they rate it at like 800 rounds an hour or something like that, but if I had a buddy with me, I could probably load almost 1,000, because the biggest kind of hiccup in your time is reloading the primers. You can just keep going and going and going, but if you run out of primers, you have to stop and load them in that tube I showed you. So I've had a friend do 16 in a minute, which that adds up to about 960 an hour. So pretty neat. So anyway, I've got my box set up now so it'll catch it. I'll just kind of go through. Oops. But I got my tripod in the way too, so it's a little awkward to load this. actually a great example of what happens. I also have, it's a low powder sensor. See that? Well, it's not even tripping now when I lifted it up. So that's what happens when I get kind of low on powder. It just reminds you, because it's something that you check, you know, hardly, I mean, it's a couple thousand rounds you can probably do with a 9mm, but that'll warn you when you're getting low on powder. Pretty neat. It's all about safety. Okay, reloaded the powder and back to it. Show you what it kind of looks like. I'm pushing forward every time to reprime it too.